So thanks for joining. How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you.
Good.
Great.
I guess I wanted to start with kind of where it started for you and the metaverse. So when did you first experience the metaverse and what was that like for you?
Well, it really depends on how do you define the metaverse, essentially. And for us, the metaverse is essentially defined as like this ability that you have with your digital identity, your avatar, to move freely between any of the virtual world and the platforms which is part of this more general concept. So it's not just one single platform, but it's really a myriad of virtual worlds where you can take your digital identity, you can take all your digital assets, your belongings, and use them freely without being constrained or restricted by one single platform or another. I think fully experiencing the metaverse is still in progress. Yeah. We are all working hard, specifically in the realm of decentralized virtual world and decentralized platform, to build the possibility of the open metaverse. And so what you need to be careful about is not to be driven not only by the marketing narrative. Some platforms are trying to capture the narrative of we are building the metaverse while they are just creating a centralized platform where with virtual worlds like Fortnite, like Roblox, like Meta back in 2021. So we're getting there. We're exploring with avatars, and it's quite interesting to be part of that journey since SANDBOX moved to blockchain and NFT 5 years ago.
So yeah, you mentioned Meta, and they spent 36 billion on Horizon Worlds, and reports from August suggest that numbers dwindled to less than 1,000 daily active users. I guess metaverse efforts maybe feel a little bit stunted, like they're struggling a little bit. And so I wondered, you've also talked about that in some interviews before. So should companies still be looking to dedicate budget to the metaverse or elements of the metaverse? And if so, where?
So, well, let me put it this way. The metaverse is here. It's not going to disappear. That movement is in place. Us interacting in 3D virtual worlds with an avatar, that's something that's going to be part of the future of how we experiment, we connect, we engage with each other. We are not yet at the hundred of million or billion of user of audiences, but there's various companies in the space, including SANDBOX, that are building the tools, the product, the content, and the ecosystem that will allow us to get there. And we recently passed at SANDBOX over 5 million users with a wallet, so we're still one of the driving force to onboard users. That's a 20% year-on-year increase, so the metaverse is far from that, from the user perspective. From the content and brand perspective as well, we have now over 800 companies in our ecosystem, more than 400 brands from around the world. Actually, when you look at the distribution between Asia, US, and Europe, it's actually being really driven by Asia, where 31% of the growth of SANDBOX is happening. And we keep announcing new and new partners entering the space. So actually, we're seeing an acceleration. Just over the last week, we had Gucci launch a new space. So in fashion, they opened the Gucci Cosmos Lab. We have Bunny J with Peaky Blinder and Black Mirror. So major movie, TV series, content that's entering the space. We had many other content. I was in Turkey last week, and one of the largest game publisher and company opened a place called Social League Arena, which is for football fans, etc. So it's interesting to see all those different verticals happening and coming to the metaverse to develop a new form of entertainment. So it's different from what you're seeing on other platforms, but it's the right time still to join, to experiment, because we don't know what will be successful. But if we don't start learning, if we don't start being part of that early movement, then we'll be late to catch up afterwards. We're late to drive user attention, etc. And even though the metrics are not that high, there in a number of users, the engagement is very high. And that's something that a lot of brands and people who are looking at metaverse should take care about. Typically, users in SANDBOX spend 62 minutes on a daily basis on average exploring experiences, which is a 20% year-on-year increase as well, as there are more and more content to do. over 60 minutes. You don't get that much attention from users on social media or other platforms. Like, we're all into an economy of attention, but taking aside metaverse and Web3, social network, Netflix, YouTube, gaming, we're all competing for user attention. And we have roughly 3-4 hours a day of the user attention. Are they going to be shopping with us, watching content, engaging, connecting, making friends, playing? So, like, I think there is really an opportunity with metaverse versus what you're seeing in traditional social media, where they spend less than minutes, like moving from one content to another.
Yeah. So I wanted to go back to your point about Asia and engagement being really high and it being, you know, a place where people are really kind of hungry for these experiences. Why do you think that is, and what does it align with? Does it align with entertainment interests? You know, a very thriving gaming scene. Why is Asia kind of the place that you seem really excited about?
So I think it's a combination of a little bit of all of that. Like Asia, so it's a continent. It's really, right now we're seeing in the top 5 countries, Hong Kong, Korea, Japan, Thailand, and the broader Asia, we can include even Turkey to some extent.
Yeah.
And they are markets that cater either to like having already a lot of creators or a lot of people who kind of missed the Web 2 wave or the mobile free-to-play wave and now are leveraging Web 3 to develop new experience and position themselves. We're seeing a lot of brands, and those brands can range from various sectors. Like we even have like finance and banking coming up and using SANDBOX to gamify and engage or drive more loyalty for their audience. But of course, also we have like theme park, we have music with K-pop or J-pop or etc. We have fashion with iconic places like Shibuya 109 in Tokyo and so on. They are really keen to experiment, and something that Asia does very well also is like they are educating the users and the audiences by bridging between physical world and virtual world.
Okay.
I don't see that so often in Europe or in US when a brand entering the metaverse and creating experience also have like a physical pop-up store or some form of activation where people can feel what is the metaverse, how to create an avatar, get a feeling of like the experience, even workshop, speakers, etc. If I take an example, we had Lotte World Park, which is like the largest indoor theme park in Seoul, who both run an experience and an activation within the theme park, where thousands of people are driven by every day, and they launch a full game in SANDBOX. We had also a very successful campaign with McDonald's Hong Kong, for example, which combined the metaverse experience together with something elevated as cultural by being present into a museum exposition, involving street artists, doing collaboration and having an event where they invited press, media and other people to like really understand better how it all connects together. And
so
every
doing more of
McDonald's shop in Hong Kong also had the experience. People could see the voxel characters around, etc. So it becomes cultural, and that's something that I believe it's part of like our vision of SANDBOX. It's how does gaming meets culture. So in a way, like being part of the metaverse, it doesn't matter if you're in the physical or virtual world. It's just part of the new normal.
Yeah, I guess moving into kind of that new normal that you're hoping for, which sounds like it's got some physical integrations as well. What would you say what does success look like to you in the context of SANDBOX? What, you know, maybe in a couple of years, would you say that is the kind of thing that's guiding you?
So, well, we should look at first what is our mission to define like what we consider as a success. Our mission is like how do we empower anyone to become a creator? So when I mean anyone, we literally mean anyone. Like we want to be inspiring you to give you the tools that are accessible so you can create those new form of experience without any kind of skill, without any kind of knowledge in programming, etc. So SANDBOX, you know, we have this aesthetic in voxel, sort of like digital Legos.
Yeah.
It's already a first starting point because it's very, it's so easy to use. Like you don't need to read the user manual to start creating content. Yeah. The no-code game maker has also been a very powerful tool to onboard plenty of creators in the space. Like not just existing programmer, game studio, etc. from Web 2, but a lot of people who never made video games and felt inspired and suddenly like could see their ideas come to life and be able to say, I made a video game. It made an impact in my life. It impacted other people around. It changed all my eyes and my opening of possibilities.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that it reach out broadly, globally. So we're not just focusing on US, but tapping into a lot of markets that have been largely ignored, bringing more inclusivity, more diversity, bringing more equal and fair chances, thanks to like this creation platform. So success will be defined in onboarding millions of creators who might do like simple games to very successful experiences, but earning a portion of revenue. So it doesn't need to be only millions of dollars of revenue. If you can earn like pocket money, but you have this pride of, I did it myself, I made new friends, people came in, played, and I discovered new skills and possibility. I think it can be considered as a way of success. And so ultimately, we hope in 10 years, 20 years, we will be at the level competing with existing Web2 platforms like Roblox or Fortnite. Not to say we have millions of users, but tens of millions or hundreds of millions of users. And the technology will have democratized even more content creation and accessibility.
Okay, so yeah, you're kind of hoping that maybe in 10 years, like you will be, Roblox and that kind of thing will be your competitors. They'll be kind of...
They are already our competitors.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more one way than two ways, but they know we exist. It's interesting to see how they're also reshaping the narrative of metaverse, that finally they consider NFTs or like a true creator digital economy to some extent. And we also part together of some working groups, like the Metaverse Standard Forum of the Open Metaverse Alliance, where we try to define how that vision of like metaverse with interoperability of assets, meaning like allowing digital content to be able to use across different platforms, will actually be feasible beyond just like the dream of it, but the behind the scene technical work, the standards, the protocol to enable that. In a sense, like we love to think that SANDBOX is a platform that democratizes creativity. So, and that is ultimately the future we're all moving forward. Not just Gen Z, but anyone should be a creator. We believe that every human can be a creator, and platforms like Roblox, Fortnite are already driving new creators, and SANDBOX will also, hopefully will be there too.
Yeah. I was reading that Roblox, they've kind of shed like, some of their meta shell and now, report quite impressive increases in share value. And some say it's because they've kind of aged up and they've been netting like older users who maybe have a bit more, disposable income. What are your thoughts on bringing an older demographic to metaverse platforms? Where do you meet them? How can you welcome them in?
So, well, it's part of the strategy of SANDBOX. So first of all, like bringing all demographic, looking at like all geographic, and like making sure that we're a platform that is inclusive of like culture, of heritage. People want to show like what makes their own country, their own culture important, and make it accessible to the rest of the world. If you look at SANDBOX, we have this map for 166, 164 land, and that map, we didn't sell it all at the beginning, but we progressively curated neighborhoods. So small group of lands, either by thematic, recently Cinerama for movies, Infinite Pulse for music, Voxel Madness for gaming, but also by region of the world. One of the things that we do best at SANDBOX is curate like Turkish verse, Lion City for Singapore, K-verse, Mega City for Hong Kong and Greater China. And it works. Like brands love to come together, smaller creator being the virtual neighbor of larger, and representing their culture as part of this, what we call it, a new social discovery layer, as we all work to build that word together. And the second thing is the kind of brand that we bring. Like we don't just bring like hardcore gamer content or things that are hyper casual for young audience. We try to mix across entertainment, fashion, art, music, electronic music, experiences. And each one of them is actually driving by different audiences. Those audiences might start for their favorite brands. In Turkey, for example, Magnificent Century, which is one of the most popular show, even almost, or if not bigger than Game of Thrones, representing like Turkish history. fans come. They are fans from Turkey, but also Pakistan, India, etc. They discover it in SANDBOX. But then after, they have a lot of other content to explore because we have all those 400 global brands.
Yeah.
And so when you put all together all those brands, it's also one of our strengths. And that's what makes SANDBOX different from others. Like, there is no other place right now where you have also many different brands that actually collaborate in a way or another that allows their creator to take their official content and to remix it with other brands to make their own games.
Yeah.
So they are opening themselves to co-creation. And even going further, we're going to encourage it even more by organizing game jams. So game jams are like video game competition, time limited, where fans and other audience can make games with their favorite IPs, and the winner gets published on the brand land. So the SANDBOX will become really a creator-driven platform where like all those brands mix together, avatars as well. Like we have 19 collection of official avatars where people come and play. So it's becoming a modern theme park, a Disneyland where all those content mix up together.
I like that, a modern theme park. So I had one more question to close us off, but I know that you were a big gamer and maybe are still a big gamer now. Do you think that more C-suite execs should be gamers, and why is that?
Well, I think it's important. Like gaming is a great way, like for engaging, for learning, for connecting with others. Like there's no other entertainment industries that bring us all together than gaming. If you want to understand that next wave of and more importantly, if you're like a C-level person, a manager, you have somehow to get into it. Don't let just your kids play for you and say, if my kid like it, then I'll bet on it. Yeah. But try to understand and even sometimes deconstruct. You already do that for more traditional products, services, and so on. So why not games? Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Sebastien. It's been really fascinating to hear about SANDBOX and your vision for it. So I really appreciate your time. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you. See you.